Welcome to the next session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. Nothing profound this time. Rather, I'm going to talk about uh, having guests over. It's been a surprisingly difficult initiative. I've lived in my house long enough to have it completely mortgage free. When we bought it, we were a childless couple, uh, newly high income, and got a price that we could uh, pretty easily afford, a price that'll never be seen anywhere close to it now. We looked at the space and had images of entertaining that we never really did. We did a little bit when our daughter was little, but really we haven't done any. Now that I'm retired and that we are empty nesters, I want to get back to it. But there are quite a lot of barriers. One was the appearance, um, that some of our furniture had gotten a little shabby, some of our curtains had gotten a bit shabby. There was clutter in the hall. This is all expected by me, but my wife did not judge this to be acceptable for guests. So, with a bit of an effort, uh, we cleaned up the hall, and um, I bought and installed new curtains for the living room and dining room. Um, the living room floor got cleared and vacuumed. I have a corner with a fold down secretary desk that's mine, that got cleaned up, and the flat surfaces were all made presentable. Well, who to invite? We don't have that many friends. It's a lot easier to do it on Sukkot when I can really only accommodate one extra person, and the setting is in the sukkah. To use our living room and dining room allows multiple guests. So there was one couple that we are more friendly with than anyone else. They agreed to come. That brought me to menu planning, which is what I really like to do. Sometimes I do it by cookbooks. At one time, I collected a lot of cookbooks, which I still have. I still read them. But the internet and its ability to organize, sort, and retrieve have largely made cookbooks obsolete. So I designed a Shabbos menu. It always starts with Kiddush and Challah. Challah recipes are all variations on the same. It's a question of how much you want to make, so I picked one. Then I usually start with an appetizer. The classic is gefilte fish. I have gefilte fish, but I'm going to save it for Rosh Hashanah. Instead, I search through various menu options and picked one that's zucchini based. Next, we have soup. Chicken soup is the classic. I really don't want to make matzo balls. I really don't want to get another set of chicken parts. So I opted to make a cod soup instead. Um, Cod was on sale. It comes frozen now. I just thaw the amount that I need, put the ingredients in a pot, boil them, and at the end throw in the cod. And it's a little bit different. Uh, Next, a salad. Those are fairly easy. I don't like lettuce. I find lettuce hard to work with. I much prefer cucumbers, tomatoes, things that have to be diced. And I found one uh, that is basically diced vegetables with chickpeas and an acid and an oil to provide its dressing. Uh, the main course is going to be chicken. I have whole chicken. It clutters up the freezer. I buy it for guests. I never use it. But now I'm going to use it. I have to defrost it a few days in advance. There's only one roast chicken recipe that I use now. It came from the New York Times. It's not that hard to make, but the one time that I did make it, or one of the variants of it, it came out far better than any other chicken that I've ever made. And while the components of preparation can be a little tedious, the result is worth it. And it's not particularly difficult. You have to have something with it. Among my favorites is Hasidic noodle or noodle from the Hungarian Hasidic community of Jerusalem. Again, easy to make, thin noodles, and sugar, oil, and eggs put in sequence with a little pepper and some sugar to add some sweetness. Uh, Again, not difficult to make. For the vegetable, I'm going to make a variation of carrots with fennel, as recommended by Tori Avey, who is a uh, frequent contributor to kosher recipes. And for dessert, baklava. I have not made baklava in ages. To my great surprise, I have all the components except for phyllo, which has gotten a bit expensive, but I can splurge. I have walnuts to use up. Um, Honey's been going on sale as Rosh Hashanah approaches. So I will make that the day before, since it keeps, and spend Friday to making everything else. It's going to be nice to have friends over and something of a challenge to make a special dinner. It's one of the hobbies that I've pursued in retirement. I don't get to do it enough, but I always um, acquire some satisfaction each time I do it. So, uh, a not very philosophical session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. Look forward to the next session.